I'm just chuckling away to myself thinking, imagine that couple had said to me, excuse me, you don't know the algebraic formula for calculation for picture frames, and then went into the whole shebang. Well, that's what it was like when they said, do you know anything about the what? I said, well, yeah, how much time have you got? Sun's coming out for you, Andrew. I think you're blessed, laddie. We might see fairies today. I'm kind of hoping. I'd love to see some fairies with me. I've told you several times that the fairies will not, you can't see fairies, they've got to present themselves to you. But if I can catch some fairies for you, I think you'll be like, right, this guy's onto something. Okay, so here's some debris that's shifted away from the old castle. You see the raised ground as well? I mentioned about that chap, that one of my friends that passed away sadly. Well, one thing I meant to mention is when he was in Iran, he asked for a drink, and they gave him milk, which he informed me was sour goat's milk, which, well, it put him off milk for life. Yeah, I had a lot of fond memories down in that cottage. Okay, so can you see the boundary for the castle? This wasn't erected for the purpose of the monument. This has been here for an absolute age. Can you see what I'm talking about? This is not the castle, but this is a boundary wall in the castle, so to speak. You can fully understand why they wanted to be here. So we're approaching the top of Chastel, hill of the castle. That's its Gaelic translation. This is the monument. It's very overgrown, very under repair. There he goes. Journals of David Baird. He was born in 1757 and he, as I said previously, died in 1829. And this was erected. You see how it says 1832, where it was originally erected in 1831, but it was damaged with lightning. You can see some stones have dislodged. Can you see beautiful granite? Something's dislodged. Look. He was out in Egypt in 1801. Spent a lot of time in India. I mean, I'm talking old colonial days here. The days of the Raj. Look. This is right. Seringapatam, that's down in the south colonies of India. And he was there in 1799. Yeah, did I say he had 7 brothers and 7 sisters? Look at this, when he's in Africa, 1809. The Boers, the Cape of Good Hope, captured for the Empire in 1806. I mean, he was a top-notch military man. He was absolutely unbelievable. And he lived in Crieff. I think he's buried in a place called Cura. Well, it's Cool Ross, but I think it's pronounced Kuros or something, in Fife. I'm just sitting here thinking about him. I've got a picture of him and he looks like me, believe it or not, when he was young. So Corman is just out there, 3.5 miles. It's very peaceful up here today, very quiet indeed. And this is the old entrance gate, you see, which I used to use. The last time I was up it was locked. And it's still locked. I wonder who's got the key. Ah, the cable for the electricity conductor has been, it's either been pulled down or it's been blown down. So this is the castle below our feet. You say to yourself, no, it wouldn't have been a very big castle, although obviously it took up much of the area. Up and down, I sailed to Alexandria back in 1962. We set off from Genoa and we stopped off in Naples and sailed to Alexandria, and we travelled onward to Cairo. Of course, the cancel culture people want to knock this down and erase all memories of anything to do with this chap. But he wasn't involved in the slave trade as such. He was only doing his job as a military man. Just military people do that for whatever country they serve, regardless of their creed or colour. It's all part of what they signed up for. What I notice is what they don't do anywhere in Scotland. They don't acknowledge the slavery which existed in this country and still does to some extent. A minimum wage, for example, that's slavery, isn't it? Taxing people, council tax, that's a form of well, it's restricting people in how much money, disposable income they have, you see. Taxation. But yeah, my grandmother on one side had told me that when she was a young girl, she remembers the markets in Crieff, in Perthshire, where they used to sell the children to the big houses to work. Many of the children left school. My grandmother left school at 14, she says, but she said lots of her friends left it when they were 12, and to enable themselves to earn money. And of course a lot of that was to do with the men folks had all gone to represent the country in the First World War and never came back again. So people were living in absolute poverty. There was no state benefits at all. And so some of the boys and girls in the family had to give up schooling to go and work just to keep a roof over their head and help Mama feed the family. Shocking. Yeah, so you don't find any mention, and there's no plaques anywhere about that, is there? So in that respect, they don't need to cancel culture about that because it's already been cancelled. I only know about it because my grandmother told me firsthand. She said the children used to gather, sometimes with the with the parents when they were there, and people would come from the States and said, this chap will do for the gardens, this girl will be a scullery maid, come here, come, you're going to work with us for 350 days a year for fuck all, but you'll get fed and you'll get a roof over your head. Is that okay? It's almost like the whole sacrifice by so many individuals for the British Empire was completely in vain. When you see the mess of the fucking place now, it really has been a total travesty. What was the point? What was the point of death and sacrifice for a country we now live in like this? It's a shambles. You're a good man, Mr. Baird. Very proud of your achievements, I am. And I just wonder what it must have been like living in Ferntower House. Okay, we had a cup of tea down at the motor car. I promised you we'd look for some fairies, but wait a while. Let's have a cigarette and sit a while here and think. Up and down was, well, I meant to mention something. Oh, she could play several instruments. I think I've mentioned that. She was very, very good on the piano, singing and playing sonatas and stuff like that. But she's also very knowledgeable in military history, European history, military history. My great-grandfather was at Gallipoli, and relatives who were at the Somme and Passchendaele. I think what they need to do with the children in school is try not to avoid the subject, but actually really bring it home to them what sacrifices were actually made by people of this great nation until it all turned, well, I don't know what happened to it. Just I must have fell asleep for a couple of years and woke up and went, what the fuck's happened to the country? That's all I can think of. Maybe I was attached too much to the public bar. I'm probably glad I did, because at least I wasn't part of the movement that made this change. But I feel I'm now suffering the consequences of their, well, what did they do it for? Did they have no history in their families themselves?